Welcome to CFP Exam Prep. Today we're diving into one of the most critical yet often underestimated topics: professional ethics and the CFP Code of Ethics. Let's break down the fundamental principle that drives everything else: the fiduciary duty. As a CFP professional, you must act as a fiduciary at all times when providing financial advice. This means putting your client's interests ahead of your own. Period. Many candidates miss exam questions because they forget this overarching principle. A common scenario you might encounter on the exam involves identifying conflicts of interest. For instance, imagine you're recommending a mutual fund that pays you a higher commission than similar funds. The correct response isn't just to disclose the conflict. You must first determine if this recommendation truly serves the client's best interest, then disclose the conflict, and finally obtain informed consent from the client. Understanding confidentiality requirements is another crucial area. Here's where candidates often stumble. While confidentiality is paramount, there are exceptions. You must report suspected financial exploitation of vulnerable adults, comply with legal proceedings, and respond to CFP board investigations. The exam frequently tests these exceptions. Due care and competence form another pillar of ethical practice. This means staying within your scope of expertise and maintaining current knowledge. A typical exam trap involves scenarios where a CFP professional provides advice in areas where they lack expertise. The correct answer usually involves referring the client to an appropriate specialist. The duty of honesty presents interesting challenges in exam questions. It's not just about avoiding lies. You must present information accurately and completely. For example, if you're discussing investment returns, you can't cherry pick favorable time periods or omit material fees and risks. The exam often includes questions about marketing materials and performance reporting. Let's talk about integrity in practice. This extends beyond individual client interactions to maintaining the reputation of the profession. You might see questions about situations where a colleague is engaging in questionable practices. The correct response typically involves first addressing the concern directly with the colleague, then escalating to supervisors or regulatory authorities if necessary. Client best interest can be tricky on the exam because it often conflicts with what the client wants. Remember, acting in someone's best interest doesn't always mean doing what they ask. If a client requests an unsuitable investment, your duty is to explain why it's inappropriate and recommend better alternatives. Here's a key concept many miss. The CFP Code of Ethics applies to all professional services you provide, not just when you're formally engaged as a financial planner. The exam frequently tests this through scenarios involving casual advice or pro bono work. A critical mistake candidates make is applying ethical rules too rigidly or too loosely. The key is understanding that ethical decision-making often requires balancing competing obligations. When you see a question with multiple seemingly correct answers, look for the one that best serves the client while maintaining professional integrity. Remember this framework for ethical decision-making. Identify the stakeholders, gather relevant facts, consider your duties and obligations, evaluate alternative actions, and document your reasoning. This approach will help you navigate complex ethical scenarios on the exam. Professional ethics isn't just about memorizing rules, it's about understanding principles and applying them to real-world situations. Focus on the why behind each requirement, and you'll be better prepared for the nuanced questions you'll face on exam day.